Today I want to talk about the topic suffering and why I think that so many people out there are suffering in one way or the other. And I was suffering too, and I'm still suffering from time to time. But there was a time in my life, 15 to 20 years ago, where I was suffering badly. And it took me quite some time to understand why I was suffering and what it needed actually to get rid of this and to overcome the suffering. And today I would like to share just some insights that I gained from that time and also from the recent years as a mental coach and performance coach. And what I believe we can actually do to suffer less. So one thing that is incredibly common, and it's almost a disease, I think, is that people tend to hold on to things that they can't control. For example, you're in a relationship and your partner, he or she says she's gonna leave you. So what can you do? Of course you can fight, you can try to hold the person that you love back, but in the end we have to ask ourselves, is this going to save our relationship? I have big doubts from my experience. And I remember a coach that I met 25 years ago, and he said something that it always stick to my mind. And he said, if my wife, if she came today and said, listen, I want to leave you, I'm not happy anymore, I want something else in my life. He said he would even help her pack her luggage, her stuff. And I found this incredibly impressive. And I think there's a lot of truth behind that actually. So, because when we try to hold on to something or to someone, this is only going to cause big pain. And we're suffering from that. We want to be happy, but how can we be happy in a relationship when we know that our partner isn't happy anymore? It doesn't work. So the only chance that we have actually to stop the suffering is to let go and to accept. And it doesn't matter if it's in a relationship, or it could be also you're holding on to your job, you're holding on to maybe a position that you have in a club, you're holding on to your money. It all causes big pain and you are suffering. So let it go and accept that things and time is changing. And you can't hold on to anything and anyone. Once we understand this and we accept the situation as it is and let go, even though it might feel really difficult in that moment, after some time we're going to see, okay, I have to accept this now. Another thing that I think it's a misconception of happiness, and which causes also big pain and that we suffer, is identifying ourselves with the materialism, and also the belief that materialism and materialistic stuff is going to make us happy. I think this is an illusion. I mean, maybe you've bought a nice car recently, a house, or you received a big bonus from your company for the previous year and your good work. And this brings to some degree some kind of happiness. But this lasts only maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks, if even, and then it just fades away and it feels so normal. And it's the same with the status, being promoted in your company and you get a new job and you're super motivated and you're happy and you're proud of yourself. The people around you are proud of you. But at some point, it's gonna feel so normal. Same in sports, when you set big goals and In the end, you achieve your big goal and you think, wow, this is amazing and I'm so happy now. But once you reached it, or once the athlete achieved it, he or she suddenly realizes, well, okay, I thought this would feel even better. But I'm somehow maybe even a little bit disappointed now because I'm not overwhelmed. And it didn't bring this kind of happiness, this level of happiness that I thought it would do. And the thing is, things like big goals, status, money, possessions, materialistic stuff, all that sort of things will bring us at some point big pain again and make us, because we have this misconception in our head, hey, if I want to be happy, I need to buy this car. And then 6 months later, a year later, maybe if you're super wealthy and you have a lot of money, you say, okay, now I don't feel this happiness anymore, I need to buy another car. So in the end, you have maybe 10 or 20 cars in your garage. Fantastic. But you probably won't feel any better. And that brings a lot of pain. That makes us feel miserable. That makes us suffer because we don't understand it. We want to be happy. And we have all these beautiful and lovely things in our lives, but we are not happy and we don't understand it. And the thing is pretty easy. This is nothing that's gonna last. This is nothing that's gonna make us really happy in our heart, just for maybe a few days, a few weeks, and then it's over again. And we need something new. So this is only good for it's like a dopamine spike that it's being caused, and that's it. So what makes you happy instead? I think it's my social network, it's my family, it's my friends, it's spending time with them, it's having a good conversation, it's also experiencing things together with my loved ones. So also being on vacation or going abroad and spending time in a nice town with my wife or with some good friends. Spending time on the tennis court for me is absolute highlight, and that makes me happy. So spending time with your loved ones, with good people that have a good influence on you, positive vibes, that's what makes you really happy. And that's gonna stop the suffering at the same time. Once we understand that materialistic stuff, status, power, possessions, money, it's all fine, but it won't make us happy. Another thing in life, what I think, especially in the Western world, it's more or less also like a disease, is this individualism. I have the feeling in some way everyone is absorbed by themselves actually. So they are super focused on their own life, on optimizing themselves, maybe in their body and nutrition and their lifestyle, and they need to handle everything by themselves. So people are more or less over-focused on themselves and on their own topics and their days and everything. And they maybe forget about the people around them. And the interesting thing is, the more we focus on ourselves, the more we are like in a bubble, and somehow we feel more and more like also selfish. We become more and more selfish actually. And we want to be in a safe place. We have a fence around the garden, around the house. So we are protected against the enemies from the outside world. We are protected from maybe some danger from outside. But this is only going to cause pain again, because we're going to be lonely at some point. If I'm alone, that's okay from time to time. But this is making us lonely, and there's so many lonely people out there. And you can try this out if you want. I find this a nice experiment. Why don't you tell yourself, okay, for the next week, for the next 7 days, I'm going to focus only 100% on me, on myself, on my life, on my interests. So you don't do anything for anyone out there. Just do this for 7 days and reflect on what it caused within you, What did it feel like? Did it make you happy? Did you feel better after the 7 days? Or did you actually find out that it feels completely weird, miserable, you want to connect with other people, but instead you felt like this, like Tom Hanks maybe in Castaway, so lonely on an island. And then for the next 7 days, do it completely different. Tell yourself you want to do something and serve something or someone every day. And do this as much as you can. So maybe call someone and ask your parents, call your best friend and ask how they are. Visit someone you really like. Surprise someone with a gift. Help someone in the garden or help someone when he or she's moving. Help your kids with the homework. Go to the nursery home around the corner and ask if you can maybe help out a day or so. And also in the mornings before you leave the house, tell yourself, today I want to serve others. And by the end of the day, I want to have this feeling I have supported, I have been helping, I've been there for others. Try this out, reflect on both weeks. Ideally write it down, maybe in a diary or maybe in a journal, and then compare the 2 weeks. So when did you actually feel better? What made you feel happier? What made you feel happy? The first week, where you're focusing on yourself only, or the second week, where you said, I want to serve, I want to support, I want to help others and the world around me. Another thing, maybe it's a minor topic, but I still think it's really interesting. There's a saying where it says, you can either be right or be happy. And I find this really cool. And I tried it out also myself numerous times. So when you're in a conversation with someone and you have maybe a discussion on a topic, maybe you know that feeling. The opposite person is saying something and you're in a hot conversation, it's maybe even an argument, and then the person says something and you disagree actually, or you have a different opinion on that, or you have something to add. And then you want to convince the person sitting opposite of you, you want to convince that person that you know exactly how it works or what the right decision is or what the solution is. But then this, to be honest, this causes also pain again. This makes us suffer again, because I always have the feeling I need to maybe justify myself, I need to clarify everything, I need to show that I know what I'm talking about, or that I understand what the person is talking about, or that I'm maybe a clever person, or that I'm more intelligent than that person. That only causes pain again, and I'm suffering again and again. So what I do instead, I try to do this in every conversation, but it doesn't work all the time. I try to just lean back, listen more, and then if I have the feeling, I have this impulse, I want to jump in now and reply or say something or convince the person opposite of me, I bite on my tongue and just tell myself, okay, just calm down, just listen and accept the perspective of that person, accept the view of that person. And I don't have to convince that person of anything. The only thing is, I tell myself it's absolutely fine and it's okay that that person has that opinion, and maybe I have a different opinion on that. But I think that's the problem that we are having in our world today. That causes so much pain and makes people suffer also, that they are not able to discuss things anymore in a way so that both can leave the conversation afterwards and have the feeling, hey, this was a cool conversation. It's like a win-win situation. And it's not about this, you have this feeling you have to leave the table or leave the conversation as a winner. And because then, if you're the winner, then the other one is the loser, and vice versa. And I don't think this is going to make us feel better and happy. Instead, it's going to cause a lot of pain, and suffering. Another thing that I found out for myself also is the more I fight against something, the more I suffer. And there's an interesting study I came across where they had some experienced meditators, and their job was to meditate in that heat. And the scientists wanted to see how people that meditate a lot or regularly, how they can cope with a situation like that. So, and they eventually found out that the ones that meditated regularly, they were able to cope with the heat much better, and they suffered much less. Because what they actually did also through their meditation was they trained their equanimity. And that's an important lesson for us, for life in general. We shouldn't have the feeling that our life is supposed to be always on a high and fantastic and great, and everything needs to be perfect. This is not possible, and this is not life. I mean, the sun isn't shining every single day of the year. So why should our lives look like that then? It's not realistic. But if we can practice equanimity, for example, through meditating, this is going to help us overcome also difficult moments where we're under stress or we lose something or someone in our life, or we have to go through an injury as an athlete, or we lose our job, or someone is sick around us, or we are sick ourselves. Because if we have the feeling life always needs to be up here, perfect, ideal, we're going to suffer a lot. Because it simply doesn't happen. There will always be days and moments where things don't go the way we want them to go, or where we have to face some challenges. But once we understand, it's more like having this stability and not these huge spikes up and these huge falls down, but we're somewhere in between, then we're gonna find it much, much easier to live a fulfilled life, a happy life, and to suffer less. So which one of these resonates the most with you? And maybe what else is it that you would add to this list that makes us suffer in life? And what would you do instead? What would you suggest? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section. And in case you like the video, please feel free to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And I hope to see you in one of my next videos. Take care, be happy, and suffer less. Bye.